So I have to ask myself, why was I so interested in Charlie in the first place? I had only been watching him for about a year before the event on 9/10 at UVU, but I was so interested in what he had to say. He was such an interesting person and he felt so engaging all the time, which is why me and I'm sure many other people were kind of attracted to his videos and watching and listening to what he had to say. His way of explaining things was so natural and so engaging that it just was captivating. It really was. And he had a way about dealing with people, speaking with people, engaging that was unlike anything I had ever seen before. I had started watching Charlie about a year before that event on 9/10 at UVU, and he was unlike anything I had ever seen. And I, at the time, had kids who were in college, and I was kind of having trouble communicating certain ideas to them. It was causing a problem. And when I saw Charlie for the first time, I thought, wow, I need to listen to what he has to say because he really knows his stuff and he knows how to engage with these college kids. And then I look and I say, well, what happened with Erica? Why is Erica having so much trouble talking to people or connecting with people? I guess it's the connection that we're talking about. But when you see her and compare it to him, there is no comparison. And this is, again, this is my opinion, and I don't want to beat up on anybody. I'm not trying to attack Erica, but she is now a figurehead and she is in the arena and she's leading a major organization. So I'm going to give you my opinion. And many people are giving you their opinions on this. And there's a reason for it. And it's because there's such a stark contrast between Charlie and Erica. Such a difference where we see evidence that Erica is basically changing at every turn. She changes how she acts and who she is basically and what she says, what she stands for changes on a regular basis. And all you have to do is go back and look at some of the things that she said, and you can compare it to what she said before that when Charlie was still here. And there's many contrasts there that are pretty obvious. So let's start by the first time that I really ever even knew who Erica was when she gave some of these speeches in the very beginning when she was talking about Tyler Robinson and she was forgiving him and things like that. Before that, I didn't have a clue who she was or anything about TPUSA or anything else. I didn't even really understand the religious component that was in there until after. Because with Charlie, he would mention sometimes about being a believer and things like that, but he would never ram it down your throat. It was never a super religious thing. I grew up in a religious household, so I know lots of those. I'm very sensitive when it comes to things like that. I don't like religion being thrown in at every turn. I don't think it's healthy, and I think it's just opens up possibilities for people to abuse whatever situation they're in because they can always say, well, God told me to do this or whatever. And that's not healthy. That has, to me, doesn't even have a place in in public discourse. I just don't think it does. It's okay just to throw it in once in a while to let people know you're a believer and stuff, but when you start using it as part of the argument, that's when I'm going to have to say no. That's not good. So let's start with this first one.
That young man on the cross, our Savior said, "Father, forgive them, for they not know what they do."
Okay, as I said, I grew up in a religious household, and that is literally the first time I ever saw Erika Kirk. And so it immediately left a bad taste in my mouth because I guess I'm a stickler for details, but it's not Father, they not know what they do. It's Father, they know not what they do. And I mean, that just to me was so obvious. And I was like, that may be a small point, but I don't know. It just rubbed me a little bit wrong. And I was like, what? This person thinks she knows the Bible? That's not. Anyway. So this was the first the first time that I had ever even seen her was this speech right here, watching her say these words. And I didn't really form a solid opinion at that time, but this was the first time that I had seen her.
That man, that young man, I forgive him.
I grew up during the 80s, and this reminds me so much of the revivals of Jim Baker and Tammy Faye Baker. It's just, I mean, these people that are out in the crowd, and a lot of these people I know did actually believe that this was a moment, and maybe now they don't, looking back on it. But when you see the events that she's putting on today, and the people that are in the crowds, those people are heavily screened to make sure that they're going to be jumping up and down. It just reminds me of Tammy Faye Baker so much. I just Anyway, so that was the first time that I had ever been introduced to Erika Kirk, and now compare that to today when she's doing these. This was this year. Um, Something about it to me is just wholly uninspiring. I was truly inspired by Charlie. He really did motivate me to want to learn the points that he was talking about, and I admired him. I really did. I thought he did such a great job with the kids, with the college kids, and then compared to this. Now I'll just show you her here speaking. She still hasn't given up on the rings. You can see here she's and all the jewelry and stuff is like it's dressed in the black, all black. I don't know what that's all about, but anyway, so and what she says here is important too. This is just a clip I picked, but it's important because it goes completely against what she said before. I'll show you what I mean.
Throughout this whole time, I have had so many people ask, why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? Why are you doing his book tour? Let me tell you something. First and foremost, when you have commitments, especially those that your loved one has made, you follow through on them. And it doesn't matter how hard it is, doesn't matter how tough life is, you gave your word. And between my husband and I, our word is our bond.
Our word is our bond. So then all of the things that she said before when she was on Charlie's show, talking about how the wife, under no circumstances, should ever work as long as there's small children in the house. Under no circumstances should that happen. And so her word is her bond. When you hear things like that, then it makes you just naturally, you're going to say, wow, that's a conflict. Absolutely a conflict. So here she is saying that.
The study shows that married women with kids are the happiest. Why do you think that is? I mean, it's just nature. I mean, just becoming a CEO of a shoe company is not going to give you happiness.
Women have it so mixed up. You can have a career after children, but if you try to have a career while you have your kids, there is no such thing as balance. That is such a myth.
No such thing as balance. Your word is your bond. I'm just calling it like I see it. So then let's look at this next clip. And this will just I'm going to contrast this with some of Charlie's appearances that he did at some of his campuses, and you'll see the difference. So this clip here, it's going to show where she promises, again, her word is her bond, but she's promising never to use AI with her husband, Charlie.
We're not awkward. We're not like weird. Cringe. We're not cringe. We're not going to be tweeting as if it's him. That's tone deaf and really disturbing. And anyone who does that's like morbidly off.
Anyone who does that's morbidly off, the AI. And what did they do?
I appoint my wife to run Turning Point USA if something happens to me. Erika would do a great job.
They used AI, and that was admitted by Blake and Andrew Colvett directly. They said that they put this out to troll everyone but at first they put it out to fool everyone and assured us that this was legitimate, and it wasn't. And so there again, there's two contradictions, two conflicts right there where her word is her bond, but they're going directly against it. I could do this all day. I could go through these and find them all day long. It doesn't take long for somebody that's paying attention to figure out that there's something really strange going on here. So now I will actually go into some of the comparative clips of Erika, and I'm doing this because I'm like, why? Why does everyone have this weird feeling about Erika, and never had that feeling about Charlie? Charlie was natural and um, not unscripted, I guess is what the word. It was just very. It was a very natural thing for him to just engage and speak to people.
Excuse me.
Do you believe that Tyler Robinson murdered your husband?
Yes, I do.
Why do you think it is so hard for so many people to believe that reality?
Because it's too simple. Again, everyone always has to think there's more to the story. Well, sometimes there's not. I've seen the autopsy report. I've seen our case pulled together. I've been in constant contact with our lawyers, the prosecuting team. I've seen it all. And let me tell you this.
I've seen it all. She says, I've seen it all. And yet we get reports now that they've seen nothing, that they want to see things. She brought her own lawyer to court with her in order to demand certain things be shown or not shown. And so I don't think, again, this is her saying one thing now. Back then she says one thing, and then now it's completely different. So it's no wonder that when you see this, Erika is very uninspiring for me. It doesn't do anything. Why is her hand always in her pocket? Why does that bother me? I don't know. It just does. She's casually walking around like she's giving a TED Talks, and everybody's on the edge of their seat waiting for the next profound and deep word or phrase to come out of her mouth. And those people, I wouldn't even go so far as to say they probably might even be paid to be there. But I just can't believe, or maybe these people are true admirers of hers, but it's a little over the top. It's a little performative. And with her pacing back and forth like she's some sage or some kind of wise person that is teaching the young masses, it doesn't do it for me. She's a beauty queen. Sorry. That's how I see her. I think that's how most people see her. I mean, nothing wrong with that. Beauty queens are great, but try to put a beauty queen into the role of a college professor, and it usually doesn't work. So here's Charlie. Now we'll play a couple clips of him and show you how his natural, responsive answers, his ability to interact with the crowds and with the people that are asking the questions is truly incredible, truly amazing.
Okay, just a reminder, if you guys disagree, you guys can work your way down. Yes, we have a disagreement and a poster and a visual here.
Oh, yeah, here's my visual. Hold on one second. And I have a petition. Raise your hand if you're progressive. No?
Nobody.
Yeah,
wow.
I love this school. This is a great school.
We thought he was
I
gonna
love
get a
this
reaction.
place. You don't have a lot of allies here.
It's going to be a tough crowd. Well,
That didn't go the way he wanted.
my name is Davin Damien. I am non-binary. I am here with the Alliance.
Hold on one sec. Can I interrupt you?
Yeah.
Guys, hold on one sec. So we outnumber, what's your name again? I'm sorry.
Davin Damien.
Davin. We outnumber Davin. That's unusual on a college campus. However, let's do something that liberals never do to us. Let's give him, I think, courtesy. Courtesy that we don't give them. How about that? Okay. So is everyone?
This Charlie having a good time with the situation, making everybody laugh, and just not being mean or anything to the guy. Compared to this, no comparison. Let's look at another one.
However, my statement / question is, would you agree / disagree that the Make America movement, Make America Great movement, again, MAGA movement, is a cult?
She tries to say that her parents are in the MAGA movement and that her parents are in a cult, in her opinion. And so she makes the argument for a little while, and they go back and forth and back and forth. And then Charlie, towards the end, he asks her, let me see if I can get it here.
Now, I can tell that you're coming after this from a good perspective. So my last homework assignment for you is this. I want you to go find 5 people with a MAGA hat once this event is over and talk to them. And then I want you to say what you said to me. I want you to first accuse them of being in a cult, because if you can say it to me, you can say it to them.
Sure.
And then I want you to have a good faith conversation, because we are not going to bring this country together, of which is actually our goal here as part of the MAGA movement, which is why we have an open mic. If you go around accusing people as if we're following Charlie Manson.
You just did the same thing to me.
Well, in all fairness, I said, if this is the standard of our dialogue right now, the Democrat Party is far more of a cult than the Republican Party. That is not a contention that I throw around lightly, but it is, you satisfy the requirements way more than the MAGA movement does.
You haven't asked me enough questions to know that.
Well, that has nothing to do with what I've said.
Yes, it does.
I mean,
You haven't asked me if I would blindly follow some leader of the Democratic Party, which is no. I would only follow if I do the in-depth research of an unbiased source to get my information, and then I base my opinion off of that.
Fair enough. Can you give me an example of an unbiased source?
I mean, like Mayo Clinic, or just like any EDU source of college information.
I'll end this. If that's your idea of a biased source,
Off the top of my head.
I would encourage you to dig deeper and be more of a free thinker.
And I will, and I am a free thinker. And I grew up in a conservative household. And once I left my parents and their beliefs, and I moved to college in a very conservative state, I actually become more progressive.
Okay, and so how is your relationship with your parents?
I mean, it's fine. We don't agree on most things, but...
Wait, so they didn't kick you out for having a different opinion? They're terrible cult members. Wait, they still love you for who you are, and do they pay your tuition?
Nope.
Okay,
I pay my own tuition. I pay everything on my own.
Well, good. Then they're even better parents. They make you pay for your own stuff. The point. So you can't even point to your own family as being part of a cult. They still love you. They still talk to you.
I would go as far to say, and if they're watching this, I do believe that my parents are in a cult. But...
Do you understand how damaging that is? To go around to say the people who raised you and nurtured you and brought you into the world that you're a cult because some professor told me the definition of a cult in an anthropology course.
Nope. You're wrong.
All right. Thank you.
It was nice to talk to you, though.
Thank you for your time.
This is classic, just classic Charlie. I mean, he just, there's no scripting in that. That's completely off the cuff. He is completely talking to her naturally, and they're having a conversation, and he's destroying her, at least making her think a little bit about what she's saying, and thinking that a .edu is an unbiased source. You know, that's not necessarily true. And then all the other things he says about her parents, everything is just classic. It just makes you wanna. It's inspiring. It really is. Again, this is not. It's not to me. And he has many others. I mean, you can go on, and compare, his talking to them to what we're seeing here. I'm not inspired. Okay, maybe that's not the point. Maybe they don't want to inspire people. Maybe they're just taking hold of this organization and doing whatever the hell they want to do. But this is the Charlie I remember right here, and I admire. I still do, and he was one of a kind. There's a reason why he was so popular on the internet and everywhere, is because of his natural God-given gifts, his abilities, and his ability to interact with people and be himself, be natural, and truly a person to admire, to be a role model in someone's life. So that's the difference between those two. That's what I see, and I just call it like I see it. It's my opinion, and it's all just what I think, nothing else. I'm not a lawyer. I'm just a small business owner and just a regular, average American guy. So I hope you enjoy the content, and if you do, please like and subscribe. Leave a comment below, and I'll get to it. And stay safe and stay sane. All right. Well, thanks a lot. I appreciate it. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.